On May 12, 2025, rapper Tory Lanez was reportedly stabbed 14 times while serving a 10-year sentence at California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi. The news shook the hip-hop world and sparked intense discussion about celebrity incarceration, prison safety, and the ongoing saga surrounding Lanez's conviction in the Megan Thee Stallion shooting case. The attack happened during morning yard time around 7:20 a.m. Tory Lanez, real name Daystar Peterson, suffered 7 stab wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed from the trauma, and he was immediately rushed to a hospital in Bakersfield. There, he was placed on a breathing machine and listed in serious condition. Just days later, Lanez's team issued a statement saying he was now breathing on his own and in good spirits, thanking God for his survival. The violence shocked many, but for those who know the prison system, it was a grim reminder of how real things can get behind bars. Lanez was convicted in December 2022 for shooting Megan Thee Stallion during a heated argument in 2020. The case drew massive media attention, not just because of the celebrity names involved, but because of the cultural conversations it sparked about violence against women, the criminal justice system, and the way the music industry responds to controversy. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison for assault with a semi-automatic firearm, carrying a loaded unregistered firearm, and negligent discharge of a firearm. Despite his legal team's repeated appeals, Tory began serving his sentence in 2023, and he's remained a controversial figure ever since. Now, the California Department of Corrections is launching an investigation into the stabbing. They're being joined by the Kern County District Attorney's Office and the Office of the Inspector General. At this time, no suspects have been officially named, and the motive behind the attack is still unknown. However, rumors have swirled online, from personal beefs inside the prison to Lanez's fame making him a target. Experts say that high-profile inmates like Lanez often face added risks, especially if they decline protective custody. It's still unclear whether Lanez was placed in general population or a more secure unit at the time of the attack. Social media erupted when news of the stabbing broke. Some fans expressed support and called for better protection for inmates, while others revisited the controversy that led to his imprisonment. Megan Thee Stallion supporters were quick to point out the irony of the situation, while others questioned how a celebrity could end up in such a dangerous position. The hip-hop community itself remains split. Some artists remain loyal to Lanez, while others have distanced themselves completely since the Megan incident. As of now, Tory Lanez is expected to survive and continue recovering under medical supervision, but this stabbing could change everything, from his future parole eligibility to his willingness to remain in the general prison population. His legal team is still pursuing appeals, including a habeas corpus petition filed in 2024 that claims vital evidence was withheld in the original trial. Whether this violent episode will impact his case remains to be seen, but what's certain is that Tory Lanez's journey through the criminal justice system just got even more complicated. Tory Lanez's stabbing is more than just a headline. It's a window into the complex, dangerous reality of life behind bars for public figures. It's a sobering chapter in an already controversial story, and it raises new questions about justice, safety, and redemption in the spotlight. As updates continue to come in, we'll be watching closely. Stay tuned. Lil Durk, one of hip-hop's most recognizable names, is now facing serious legal troubles that could change the course of his career forever. In a shocking turn of events, he has been denied bail after prosecutors revealed he violated jail protocols while in custody. This isn't just about the original charges anymore. It's about how he's been conducting himself behind bars. Durk, whose real name is Durk Derek Banks, is facing federal charges tied to a murder-for-hire case. The allegations suggest he was involved in orchestrating a 2022 shooting in Los Angeles that resulted in the death of Lil Pab, the cousin of rapper Quando Rondo. Prosecutors argue that Durk was involved in planning and funding the hit, making the case one of the most serious in his legal history. But the latest development isn't just about that alleged crime. During his time in jail, Durk reportedly used the communication privileges of other inmates to make unauthorized calls. Authorities say he accessed the phone accounts of at least 13 different inmates. These calls included three-way communications, a major violation in correctional facilities, as they're often used to evade monitoring. According to investigators, these calls weren't random or innocent. They're alleging that Durk used these connections to communicate with people on the outside, possibly to coordinate support or strategize for his case. The use of others' phone accounts is viewed as a deliberate act to bypass standard monitoring systems, and that's a big deal in the eyes of the court. Judge Patricia Donahue, who reviewed Durk's bail request, wasn't swayed by the multi-million-dollar bond package presented by his legal team. Instead, she focused on this phone usage as a key reason for the denial. In her words, Durk demonstrated a willingness to break rules even while in custody, suggesting he could pose a risk if released. What's interesting is that this phone misuse may now weigh just as heavily against him as the original murder for hire accusation. In high-profile cases like this, the court isn't just looking at the severity of the charges. They're looking at behavior. And Durk's behavior, at least from the judge's perspective, was enough to justify keeping him locked up until trial. Now, one major development in Durk's favor is the exclusion of his rap lyrics from evidence. His defense team argued that his music is artistic expression and shouldn't be used to make him look guilty. The judge agreed. The court ruled that his lyrics could not be used against him because they were written before the crime allegedly occurred and had no direct connection to the incident in question. This is a big win, not just for Durk, but for the hip-hop community at large. There's been a growing movement to prevent prosecutors from using lyrics as literal confessions. In Durk's case, this ruling could help strip some emotion out of the trial and keep the focus on hard evidence. As of now, Durk remains in federal custody, awaiting trial, which is scheduled to begin on October 14th, 2025. If convicted, he faces decades in prison, if not life. His team continues to push back against the narrative that he's a danger or flight risk, but the prosecution seems determined to paint him as someone who believes he's above the rules, both outside and inside prison walls. The reaction from the public and the industry has been mixed. Some fans are rallying behind Durk, calling this a targeted attack on another successful black rapper. Others are more skeptical, questioning how someone facing these kinds of charges could have made such reckless choices while in custody. Whether Lil Durk ultimately beats the case or not, his situation is now about more than just the crime. It's about how celebrity, influence, and power are perceived in the justice system, and how far those things go in a courtroom. For now, he sits in a cell, denied bail, with his fate hanging in the balance. This is not just another legal story in hip-hop. This is a defining moment, one that could reshape Durk's life, career, and legacy forever. Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some major news that has Playboi Carti fans going crazy. We're talking about the long-awaited next album. And this time, it's not just rumors. According to his producer, F1LTHY, the project is done, finished, in the vault, ready. And you already know when F1LTHY speaks, we listen. So let's break this all down. What's the album called? What can we expect? When is it dropping? And is this the project that's finally going to redefine Carti's legacy? Let's get into it. All right, for some background, Playboi Carti dropped Whole Lotta Red back in December 2020, a chaotic, experimental, genre-bending album that split fans at first, but over time, it became a cult classic. Carti leaned fully into the punk vampire aesthetic. Wild beats, screams, mosh pit energy. It was unlike anything else in the mainstream. Since then, the fan base has been starving. No album, just live performances, teases, fits, and leaks. We've been in the Carti drought for 3 years now. But recently, a spark, F1LTHY, Cardi's longtime producer and a central figure in the Opium sound, responded to a fan tweet. The tweet said, "This album gonna get scrapped and have a different album title. We've been here before." And F. Wonthly just replied, "Album already finished. Watch this." That's it. One line. But that line might be the most powerful sentence Cardi fans have heard in years. Let's pause right there. This is big. We're not hearing this from some random insider. This is F1LT, the man who helped shape Cardi's sound, not just on Whole Lotta Red, but across his entire Rage evolution. This isn't a maybe. This isn't a tease. This is confirmation. Now, the current working title that fans are buzzing about is Baby Boy. It's not officially confirmed by Cardi, but the name has been floating around on IG Lives, forums, and leaker circles. Before that, there were rumors of an album called Music. So yeah, titles change. Ideas evolve. Cardi is unpredictable. That's part of his whole mystique. But whatever it's called, the real question is, what does it sound like? Let's talk about the direction. Cardi's recent live shows and appearances have hinted at a darker, more stripped down aesthetic, less vampire fashion week, more post apocalyptic chaos. We've seen him perform with his Opium crew, Destroy Lonely, Ken Carson, Homicide Gang, all on that rage wave, heavy distortion, demonic energy. Some leaks have surfaced, tracks like Killers, Hood by Air, Backrooms Freestyle, all with that same gritty skeletal sound design. Fans say it's Cardi going even deeper into the abyss. F1LTHY's production is sounding evil. Industrial drums, minimal melodies, and Cardi just floating, yelling, whispering, glitching through it all. Now let's get real. We've heard rumors before. Cardi's one of the most elusive artists in the game. He'll post something cryptic and disappear for months. But something feels different this time. He's been more present, doing festivals, pulling up to studio sessions with fans watching. He's locked in with his artists. And now F1LTHY is openly saying the album is finished. Drop your favorite Cardi leak in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Because when this album drops, we'll be covering every beat, every bar, every breakdown. Until then, stay tapped in.